We were always anxious to get some mercy from Srila Prabhupada in the form of his belongings, something that we could hold on to. And I also would do this very often as his servant. I would try to get something from Srila Prabhupada. And the very first opportunity I had that I remember was when I had gotten Brahmin initiation, which again was in Los Angeles in 1972. I had my Brahmin thread, I think, all of maybe 1 month. And this was the thread, of course, that Prabhupada had chanted on. And in New Vrindavan, when we used to go bathe, you would have to go outside. And there was a little stream that was dammed up, and you would grab water and throw it over your body. It was quite nice, quite cold. But depending on the position of the moon, whether it was new moon or full moon, it could be very dark at 4 o'clock in the morning. So one morning I remember going and bathing, going to the brook there and throwing buckets of semi-mud and water over my head to bathe in the morning in New Vrindavan. And when I got back to my quarters, my Brahmin thread was gone. I went to chant Gayatri and my thread was gone. Because I was very young and very much attached to it. And I was totally devastated that now, that link had shattered. That link was gone. I thought, this is definitely a very bad omen. Something's not good here. And of course, then we didn't have Brahmin threads from India, neither. You just you got some string and you tied it in a knot, You would get six of them, and that was your Brahmin thread. So that's what I had to do to continue chanting my Gayatri, and I did it. But I was never content. I always felt that I needed that. And of course, even there now I had become a servant. For some reason, there was no question of asking him, would you chant on a thread for me? But I devised a plan. After being with him for a month, he told me that whenever Ekadasi was there, that he would change his Brahmin thread on Ekadasi. And he said, so at this time, he said, you can put the thread on the table. And so I was all prepared. I said, well, now I will get Prabhupada's old Brahmin thread, because he's going to take it off and place it on the table. And Prabhupada was bathing, so I set up this table, put the tilak out, the mirror out, and I put a nice Brahmin thread and laid it right on the table. Today was Ekadasi. And I watched. This was in Radha-Damodar Temple, where Prabhupada was staying in the room downstairs. And I was on the veranda right outside, and I was just sitting there watching and waiting. I was so happy. Now I was going to get my Brahmin thread back. And Prabhupada put on his tilak and put the second thread around and began chanting Gayatri. So now I was busy in the kitchen with Jamuna, helping getting his lunch together. And Prabhupada chanted Gayatri. And then he left his quarters and he walked by the veranda into the kitchen to take prasadam. And I raced into the room and I found this Brahmin thread, and he had broken every thread, all 6 of them. He broke them all. And I thought, why did he do this? And I immediately started thinking he must know something. He must have done this because I wanted his thread. Of course, I was very stubborn. So I grabbed each thread and I tied it in a little knot, all 6 of them. I thought, now I have my Brahmin thread. He said, despite everything, I still have it. Prabhupada's chanted on it, I thought, so many times, so it's better than my original Brahmin thread. So I took the Brahmin thread and put it in my pocket. And then I went in where Prabhupada was taking prasadam. And he said, so that Brahmin thread that I've left on the table? I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. He said, so you should take that Brahmin thread and dig under Tulsi Devi and bury it under a Tulsi plant. I thought, no, this is impossible. Like, is this what they do, or is he just doing this to me? And I said, okay, Srila Prabhupada. Of course, I didn't obey that order because I was so determined. It was one order that Srila Prabhupada gave that I just reneged on because I thought I have to have this Brahmin thread. So I took it and disobeyed his instruction. But that was the beginning of many different opportunities I had to get a piece of Mahaprasadam in the form of cloth from Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama